urologist just dropped this stat that made me do a double take. As many women in America are on testosterone as men. Yeah, you heard that right. And that's just one of the things we're getting wrong about women's hormones.
Hi there, I'm Tony Lee, and this is Hot Flasher, your daily menopause podcast that serves up fresh news, research, and wellness tips. I've built a daily news pipeline to find the latest on women's health and menopause research. Allow me to introduce my co-host, Nikki, who handles the headlines. Take it away, Nikki.
Thanks, Tony. We've got some serious myth busting to do today. So I'm scrolling through the menopause subreddit, as one does, and I see this post that stops me cold. Dr. Kelly Casperson, who's a urologist and podcast host, says that as many women in America are on testosterone as men are right now. This includes compounded testosterone and pellets. My first thought, no way. My second thought, wait, actually, this makes total sense. Think about it. We've spent decades assuming testosterone is a male hormone, while completely ignoring that women's bodies make it too. And when our ovaries start winding down, guess what goes with estrogen and progesterone? Yep, testosterone. Dr. Casperson points out this is already a huge market. Women are finding doctors who will prescribe it. They're getting it compounded. They're trying pellets. The demand is clearly there. The question she's asking is pretty reasonable. Shouldn't we at least have the opportunity to try it? What really interests me about this is how it connects to something else I keep hearing about. Testosterone isn't just about libido, though that's usually what gets the headlines. Research suggests it might help with cognitive function, which could mean clearer thinking and better memory. Some women report it helps with dry eyes. And there's emerging research looking at testosterone's role in dopamine pathways, which has caught the attention of women dealing with ADHD symptoms. Now, I'm not saying testosterone is some magic cure-all. Dr. Casperson herself says not everyone will be helped by it, but the fact that as many women are using it as men, that tells us something about how desperate we've been for solutions that actually work. This whole thing reminds me why I get so frustrated with the just tough it out approach to menopause. Women are clearly willing to seek out treatments, even when they're not easy to get. Maybe it's time the medical establishment caught up. Speaking of catching up, let's talk about something that's just starting to get attention in menopause research: your gut. There's this new paper in the Menopause Journal about something called the estrobolome. I know, it sounds like science fiction, but stay with me because this is actually fascinating. The estrobolome is basically the collection of gut bacteria that can metabolize estrogen. These little microbes in your digestive system can actually influence how much estrogen circulates in your body and how it gets processed. What the researchers are finding is that when estradiol levels drop during menopause, it doesn't just affect your ovaries and your brain and your bones. It also changes your gut microbiome, and that changed microbiome might be contributing to some of the symptoms we've been blaming entirely on hormone loss. This could explain why some women feel better when they focus on gut health during menopause. It's not just about digestion. Your gut bacteria might actually be influencing your hormone balance. The research is still early, but I find this promising because it gives us another angle to work with. Maybe supporting gut health could help some women feel better, even if hormone therapy isn't an option for them. Maybe probiotics and fermented foods aren't just good for bloating. Maybe they're part of a bigger picture. It also makes me think about all those women who say cleaning up their diet helped with menopause symptoms. We've often assumed it was just about weight or inflammation, but what if some of that improvement was actually about feeding the right bacteria to support better hormone metabolism? Again, we're not talking about cures here, but the more we understand these connections, the more tools we might have. Now let's shift gears to something that might sound boring, but is actually really important: bone density. Specifically, your hip Bones. There's new research from the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey that looked at thousands of postmenopausal women. What they found was that femoral bone mineral density, that's your thigh bone where it meets your hip, is an independent predictor of mortality risk. Independent predictor means it matters regardless of your age, weight, or other health conditions. Women with lower bone density in that specific area had higher mortality risk over the follow-up period. This caught my attention because we usually talk about bone health in terms of fracture risk. Don't break your hip, don't break your wrist, stay mobile, stay independent, all true and important. But this research suggests bone density might be telling us something broader about overall health and longevity. Your bones aren't just structural, they're metabolically active. They're constantly breaking down and rebuilding. And that process is influenced by hormones, nutrition, exercise, and inflammation. So when your bone density is low, it might be a signal that other systems in your body are struggling too. Or it might be that strong bones are directly protective in ways we're still figuring out. The practical takeaway: getting a DEXA scan to check your bone density isn't just about preventing fractures. It might be giving you important information about your overall health trajectory. And if your bone density is low, that's not a death sentence. It's information you can act on. Weight-bearing exercise, adequate protein, vitamin D, and for some women, hormone therapy can all help maintain or improve bone density. What strikes me about all three of these stories is how they challenge assumptions we've had about women's health. Women are seeking out testosterone therapy in huge numbers, even though it's not widely discussed. Our gut bacteria might be more involved in menopause than we realised. And hip bone density might be a more important health marker than we've been treating it as. Makes you wonder what else we're going to discover when we start looking at women's bodies with fresh eyes instead of just accepting that suffering through menopause is normal.
Thanks for listening to Hot Flasher. We're back tomorrow with more, so don't forget to subscribe. See you tomorrow.